can easily bounce back from something like that.
With that being said, Game 1 is now underway. We're into the draft, guys. It's ForLove versus LGD China, a best of 3. One of these teams is in the International 3 East qualifier. One of them, well, they didn't get invited, even though many thought perhaps they should have been. They're not there, so they probably have a little bone to pick with LGD. Let's see what ForLove can put together. Both teams searching for their first win in the Dota 2 Super League. The 1 million, I always say 1 million, and I want to say dollar, but no, 1 million RMB, 160,000 and change US dollars in total prize pool. The biggest tournament outside of the International 3, which, oh, by the way, keeps on getting bigger. We've now broken $2 million. We actually did it yesterday for the total prize pool, and a lot of the credit for that, in fact, a huge amount of it goes to the community for their contributions, purchasing compendiums. I hope you guys will continue to do so. Also, be sure to check out the International 3 West qualifier streams over at twitch.tv/thegd studio, and Toby1 Dota doing one as well. But with that being said, we're now underway. Game 1 draft coming out pretty quickly at LGD China. They're going to get their hands on a lone druid, but the trade will be there for ForLove, getting a hero that's really risen to prominence as of late, especially in the Chinese scene. It's the Clockwork.
Yeah, no second thoughts about that Clockwork. They're not even decided their second pick, and they already have the Clockwork there. So LGD can somewhat prepare for that. But good thing about Clockwork that we've been seeing lately is he can go to the mid lane. He can also go to that off lane, because maybe you don't want to have the Clockwork 1v1 against a lone druid, which is where you look to send in mid. Move played a fantastic solo mid Clockwork the other day, a couple of them against Team Zenith, and CTY has been showing how it's done as well. So I think ForLove, after getting 2-0'd by Vici Gaming, partly on the back of a CTY Clockwork, not quite up to Moose standard, I have to say, but it was pretty sharp.
It was sharper when he played LGD China, I feel.
Yeah.
The second match yesterday, I wasn't as impressed. I felt like he's pressing a little bit, and it kind of showed. I
feel like that was a game where, not to be harsh on ForLove, but Vici Gaming kind of just sunk to ForLove's level and played a very scrappy, unorganized game.
Yeah, and we'll see a Rubik as the second pick for ForLove. There is a Magnus on the board. Both teams ignoring him thus far. Was often a first pick in the Chinese scene, even a month or two ago. Has fallen off a bit. Still a popular choice, just not something you're going to snap up right away in LGD China. They'll go for a Darkseer and a Leshrac. Kind of reminds you of how LGD International was drafting back last season in G League, where you get the Darkseer, you get the strong pushing carry like the Lone Druid or the Luna, and then you get your mech up and you start 5-man. I don't know what time LGD will be going for, but if they want to push, it certainly looks like they do. They've got a strong lineup for it.
Wow, and ForLove even go the Gyrocopter. This is like full Western-style Dota almost, like we're watching like a Team Liquid game with the Clockwork, the Gyrocopter. The Chinese metagame is shifting, and it's shifted quite rapidly and quite to a very different style of picks with Clockworks, Gyrocopters. We've seen Solomon Alchemist. We're seeing Visage get picked up here and there. And LGD, you're much more standard Chinese draft. The early Lone Druid pick, the support Leshrac, and the Darkseer, most likely for the offlane.
It's all about limiting the ways for ForLove to stop LGD from breaking the base right now. Banning out Mag, one of the hardest heroes in the game to go high ground against simply because of RP, and then banning Bane, who's enfeeble, can really neuter the bear when he's chipping away at towers. I love these bans from LGD, and it really tips their hand as to the style we could expect to see from around that 20-25 minute mark. It will be 5-man Dota from them, unless they get horribly outlaned and simply can't group, but that's really what they're looking for.
Yeah, and ForLove, they need to start looking to ban out some of these secondary carry type heroes. DK, one of them. I feel a Juggernaut ban, just as it comes out. Healing Ward with a Lone Druid Spirit Bear when pushing is absolutely brutal, and it would fit perfectly into a tri-lane with the Leshrac.
It's really an arms race right now. Who can get the better ability to deal with the push? Will LGD get over the hill here with a couple of additional bans? Even the Keeper of the Light. It really is all about the 5-man Dota for them. And then the question is, well, they ban out as much as they can to stop the push. ForLove ban out, like you mentioned, the Healing Ward and the Dragon Knight. A strong pushing carry is sort of your 2 position, your solo mid if you want to go that way. And the question really is for LGD, who do they go for now? There's no Rubik, there's no Shadow Demon. You'd like to see some sort of setup stun as a support. And then I imagine we're looking at a solo mid for Yao.
Yeah, and LGD not a team known for picking up your Chen, your Enchantress, so they're not going to... I say they're not, but they never go down that road. The only time I saw them do it once or twice was when Long DD was actually on the team, because he was playing those heroes. But back at TI2, they were the only team out of like 100 matches played who had never picked Chen or Enchantress. And only one game in their entire history they ran like a jungle hero, and that was an Enigma.
I'm curious to see what they go for. I mean, I'm even thinking... I'm also interested to see exactly how they're going to lane this one. Xiao 8, if he wants to play that off lane, we used to see him a lot of the time in the past would go Nature's Prophet, and he would be the one in the offlane who'd farm the fast mech. The problem is, I don't think he'll be getting much farm done in the offlane. Doubt we're going to see a 1v1 matchup for him. This gyrocopter feels like a one-position gyro and probably a safe lane position gyro. But we'll see. If they think they'll get a 1v1 matchup, maybe the Shao-8 Prophet of old will be resurrected.
Yeah, that'd actually be kind of cool. I'm missing his Prophet. His safe lane Nature's Prophet was like one of the best out there. He would just go straight for the mech. He'd even sometimes go back for a Midas after getting his mech, but he'd have like a 7 or 8 minute mech, and it was just amazing how powerful that is. He'd TP to the tri lane, and then it'd be tower down. I think it's kind of hard to fit in because they've got the Lone Druid. They'd have to send Lone Druid mid, or even Nature's Prophet solo mid. Then they've got the Darkseer in there as well, so it would make the laning a bit awkward, but it'd be a nice little pickup if they do want to get aggressive and take towers early.
Yeah, it's not something we're likely to see. LGD has been known to send the Lone Druid mid for Sylar, but that's a situational matchup. When they see something like a Templar Assassin, or maybe even an Obsidian Destroyer, they might do it. They'll go for Visage. Now, you mentioned a carry Visage you had seen the other day. I believe, was it Rattlesnake you mentioned had been playing it?
Rattlesnake did one with a farming Visage, and then it was, well, one game was farming Visage, another game was a support Visage, so they've done a bit of both.
Well, they get the Visage here, and now you gotta wonder, I mean, where's really the setup? I guess they have Grave Chill to start things off, and maybe it could be a tri-lane Darkseer, but it feels like if you normally you see this Visage pick, you want to go aggressive. And if they do that, then they set up a 1v1 for Sylar's Lone Druid in the safe lane, and maybe even a Darkseer mid, or he's that third component in the tri-lane.
Yeah, I feel to do that, they want to have some kind of a semi-carry that has a setup sun. Because right now, Leshrac, Visage don't offer that. Something like a Sven as a sort of off-lane, tri-lane farming role. He's in the tri-lane as a farmer, but it'd be more like a 3-position Sven. Actually, ForLove going to take the Sven.
That kind of feels like a block pick. Because the other reason the Sven is not only a setup stun, he's also good because he gives you Warcry, which is a great spell to help go high ground.
Yeah, it does seem a bit blocking. I guess ForLove, it is blocking at this point. ForLove also need heroes that fit their lineup, and Sven does do pretty nicely there. We're gonna see Clockwork probably in the off lane with Gyrocopter in mid with a Sven tri-lane, unless we see something like a Sven or a Gyro support, which would be a bit unusual. I don't think it'd quite fit what ForLove want to be doing here.
Yeah, it feels like a game where you kind of want to have multiple sources of damage simply because LGD have a bear. And if you have one carry and he starts getting rooted in the fights, well, that's not very fun. And even Gyrocopter, he could dish out a lot of damage, but he will die fairly quickly. They'll go for Earthshaker now. They get their third hero in the tri-lane.
Farming Visage or farming Leshrac, and I'm hoping it's a farming Visage. That'd be fun to see.
Yeah, it's hard to say which one fits better. I mean, in some ways, the Leshrac's the hero that he could bring down the towers a bit easier. Sure, you have the familiars, but Edict's just a more reliable and spammable way to deal with them. So either one certainly is an option. The
cool thing about a tri-lane like that is you can share the farm. You can get Visage a fast Arcane Boots, and then you can be like, okay, Leshrac, farm some Braces, farm a BKB, whatever it wants. If Visage is one of those heroes who can get an early Arcane mech, and then you can just give the farm to other heroes. Which is kind of where it's having these tri-lanes where you don't have a clear, obvious farming hero is kind of neat. Even give the Earthshaker some farm to get his Arcane Boots when it's safe. So I don't think there'll be any case where let's give every bit of farm to this one hero and get Visage a fast Arcane mech, pipe, and all these big items while the Earthshaker Leshrac sit on very little.
And the other thing, and this does set up our Darkseer most likely to go solo mid and then the Lone Druid towards the safe lane. So it's going to be, I imagine either one is a viable option mid. It's more what LGD expect as far as well, basically what they expect as far as the lanes from ForLove. If they think the Lone Druid will, say, have a matchup he can dominate mid, but Queen of Pain is the final choice, and then one nice thing about putting Sylar safe lane, he's much less likely to get ganked if ForLove want to smoke and leave that tri-lane, which, I mean, for LGD, it's not really just about who gets the farm in the lane, it's about the towers, because they're planning to farm a lot of towers quite early.
Yeah, ForLove going to have a bit of a hard time defending it, especially considering some of these heroes in lanes. But ForLove, considering an offensive trial of their own, they actually are going to be going for the support Sven, and that is a hero that if you start falling behind and start getting walked over, will never ever catch up.
I know Luminous was never a big fan of this hero as a support, and the reason is his stun has a 15-second cooldown. Read it and weep. You compare that to something like Leshrac's Split Earth, 9 seconds.
Compare it to Earthshaker, 15-second stun as well.
Right. Fissure, of course, a massive AoE, also blocks people away. Yeah. So we can try to compare them, but at the end of the day, they're only so similar. On the side of ForLove, we've got Keo handling the Gyrocopter, Zippo, formerly of DK, now going to be lending his talents as Rubik to ForLove. Hansi on the Sven, playing that support role you mentioned. 8K going to be taking the Clockwork mid, and last but not least, it will be you handling that Queen of Pain in the safe lane. So, a safe lane Queen of Pain against what LGD has, are they expecting the Lone Druid to be here, or do you think they feel Queen of Pain could deal with the tri-lane if it's coming their way?
I think they're just trying to dodge the LGD tri-lane more than anything. by sending Queen of Pain up against a tri-lane and then going to be tri-lane bot against Sylar. It'll probably lead to a fast LGD rotation with their lanes. They'll send the supports bottom with Sylar. I don't know if they'll send Sylar top, but it kind of just throws LGD off, unless LGD can scout at this tri-lane here at bottom. But on the LGD side, we do have Zhao 8 playing the Leshrac. It looks like he may be in the farming role based on some of his items. Sylar going to be playing one of his trademark heroes, the Lone Druid. DDC on the Visage. Yao playing the Darkseer. And then finally DD, or SC, the new recruit, returning recruit, I should say, playing the Earthshaker.
The old new guy, or the new old guy, not sure how to put it, but he's been a player with this team for a long time. The synergy is certainly going to be there, but really the question is it going to be there fast enough? And I think that's one of the big question marks for LGD is, sure, you know what you can accomplish with DD. You got 3rd place at the International last year, but that's not enough if he's not ready to go in just about, I mean, what is it, under 72 hours before the East qualifiers begin. So DD, he's going to have to get his feet under him in a hurry. And speaking of that, well, right now Earthshaker, his tail legs kind of dragging behind a bit, so needs to straighten up a little bit, and we'll see if he can do it. We'll have a reconnect from DD. Should be getting unpaused underway any moment now. And once again, if you haven't already heard, the West qualifiers are starting any minute now. In fact, they probably just at least have begun the pre-show, so if you're not already watching those streams, you should be as well. Twitch.tv/thegd studio or twitch.tv/Toby1Dota.
Or twitch.tv/Shiver Gaming.
Or Shiver Gaming as well. Actually, how did I forget? Shiver has been super dedicated, casting every single game with, I mean, not as many viewers as the other streamers, but doing it solo a lot of the time, so it deserves huge props for that.
Yeah, mad respect. One of those like hard-working, dedicated streamers out there. But right now, we've got ourselves, who are some lazy bums who spend more time working on our studio than actually casting games. Actually casting a game for once.
Yeah, reluctantly. I was actually falling asleep earlier, but this game has woken me up in a hurry. Casting Dota, playing Dota, one of the few things that gives you energy. In fact, everyone was falling asleep and feeling the food coma after they got back from getting a little snack. But you play Dota, or you just log on and you start working. What do you know? You have the energy to fuel you for the day. So Shao 8, he'll check the top rune. It looks like you mentioned, he'll be playing Formula Shrek, and this is a very scary tri-lane. They have long-range initiation from Fissure and then a ton of follow-up with Split Earth as well as Soul Assumption. So if anyone gets caught, I feel LGD at level 2 can easily find a kill. Even a hero like Queen of Pain, if the follow-up stuns are there, will not be able to blink away.
If they chain stun it well enough and get a bit of harass off earlier. LGD, have they scouted out this tri-lane bottom? It looks like they have. Everyone's rotating bottom. They're ditching.
So they're going to send Shao 8 mid. Farming Leshrac mid, it looks like. They'll protect that Lone Druid with a tri-lane bottom, and then they'll get the Darkseer offlane for Yao. He will be a little late showing up to the lane, but I imagine with creep skipping, it shouldn't really make a big difference.
Nice stun to lead things off by Shao 8. He stuns, gets a creep kill, and gets 8k down to like below half HP right off the bat.
You know, the funny and interesting thing about casting LGD is the difference in styles between Shao 8 and Yao. Shao 8 is so aggressive when he goes mid. When he's playing Beastmaster, he constantly auto-attacks, spams the axes from level 1, tries to bully out of the lane, and with Leshrac immediately throwing down the Split Earth, going for an early bit of damage on 8k. Whereas Yao, he's much more of the patient, stable kind of mid. He'll wait for the opportunities, let them come to him, and, well, they want the aggressive mid this game, so it'll be Shao 8 there.
Yeah. Well, as far as the lanes go, ForLove going with the offensive tri-lane, while unexpected because of they being up against a scarier tri-lane, it's worked out for them because it's a tri-lane with Lone Druid. This is not what LGD want. They wanted the tri-lane with the Leshrac, Lone Druid in the 1v1 matchup, but it hasn't happened. So ForLove, while they're tri-lane versus tri-lane at bottom against a Visage Earthshaker, and they're not going to be able to get kills, they are going to be able to slow down Sylar's farm and just sort of disrupt what LGD were hoping to do with their aggressive lanes.
The key hero in this tri-lane is the Earthshaker. It's all about DD. If they go on Sylar, his Fissure's got to be right to protect him. Otherwise, with Lift, Stormbolt, as well as Rocket Barrage, you can easily bring him down very, very quickly. So keep an eye on DD, especially since DDC is doing a bit of pulling out camp. Has been blocked, but the first creep spawn is going to happen. The ward is behind the lane, so they definitely know about this. Meanwhile, take a quick look at top lane. It looks like Yao is doing a bit of creep skipping, not farming the small camp. It looks like wants to get back to the lane quickly, but in the future, I imagine we'll look to do that if he has a chance. And right away, we'll see 8k bottles up an Invisor, so a good start for him mid in that sense. And sitting 9-3, actually out farming Shao 8.
Yeah, actually, pretty good for a Clockwork. And it just goes to show how Clockwork are very powerful mid lane. So far, going for 2 points in Rocket Barrage. I hope he doesn't look... A lot of the Chinese players are just straight up maxing this, a few of them. CTY, when he has 1v1 matchups, and same for Mu, have been going for the Battery Assault build. And I think it's a much stronger build as far as killing potential goes.
It'll be interesting to watch the man fight. If the cogs are there, the Battery Assault is there, but say there's a creep or two, Shao 8 might be able to win the man fight, and he feels that he wants to push early with that Split Earth Edict build. So... in the man fights, Fissure bottom lane gonna catch out Keo. He's dropping low. Down he goes in a matter of seconds. Who needs that extra stun? Apparently, They don't on LGD. Easy first blood picked up, and it was started by a nice fissure by DD. And you just see the power of Soul Assumption at a tri-lane. So much damage.
Yeah, Sven didn't even use a Stormball, though. It was too late to save him. Gyrocopter just got a bit out. They're maybe going to go for more here. No. Another fissure being dropped here. I think Earthshaker just deciding. He's got 3 clarity, so hits 3 heroes with the Sun, so it's actually some decent damage output.
And as much as Lone Druid is not really a strong tri-lane hero from levels 1 to 4, once he hits 5, he's a decent tri-lane hero. With Entangle, if anyone gets caught, a hero like Gyrocopter will just go down. And the nice thing about the Lone Druid in the safe lane is when he hits 6, you're free to roam and pull almost with impunity, and the chances of him dying are very small. So an important kill for LGD. If they can just get that Lone Druid to 6, they'll be in good shape. Meanwhile, ForLove, they've decided they can't get much done bottom. They're going to smoke up and head mid.
Yeah, I think it's worthwhile. This bottom lane is sort of in tatters now after that early first blood. They can get a kill on Xiaowei, it's great, but right now, Xiaowei's got such clear vision over to the right there. He'll see them as soon as they pop out of smoke, and it's going to be very, very close.
Xiaowei, he was normally so good at not getting caught, but he'll get caught here. Lifted up, thrown back, battery assault to fly. He actually pushes Hansi towards the tower, AK does with his cogs, but in the end won't matter. They get a much-needed kill. Leshrac is an important component of the push. It's the Darkseer for the early mech. The Lone Druid is the one to work on the towers and kind of tank them with the bear, and then you have the Leshrac who does a lot of damage with Edic. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Keo in a bad spot. I don't see him getting out of this one. Looks like he's going down here. He'll try to TP out. Where's that fissure? It's cooling down. Soul Assumption not going to connect. Never mind that. Gets into the fog, TP's away, and barely escapes.
An expensive survival. At this point, buying a TP, 135 gold as an early game Gyrocopter is quite a bit. He also has to TP home, now walk back to lane, so he's going to waste a lot of time. So they don't kill him, but it's almost just as good as killing him.
He actually loses more farm time this way, I think.
Yeah.
He maybe spends a little less gold since he doesn't have the death tax and a TP to his name, but in terms of actually seeing creeps and getting experience, he'll lose a bit more this way, especially since the latest push. It looks like he'll get there mostly in time, so only going to miss a few at that, but so far the tri-lane for ForLove hasn't really done anything to shut down Sylar. 23 and 5 on him. They do have a Queen of Pain farming freely. Darkseer is too, so top lane seems to be mostly a wash, despite Yao arriving here a bit late. And, I mean, how do you feel about the way the game's developing strategically? For LGD, we really know they want a 5-man around that 15-20 minute mark. How do you think they're doing in terms of achieving that objective?
Well, I think they're doing pretty well. They've got all 3 of their core heroes farming, but they have given... I mean, they are trading farm for farm, with the exception of this bottom lane, where Gyrocopter is not doing all too well, needs to pick up some boots and just basic items. So the one thing going well for LGD, the one lane they've actually won is bottom. Apart from that, the other 2 solo lanes have broken even, and Queen of Pain actually getting close to a kill on Yao at top lane.
Oh, no. No mana for a Blake right now. I don't think it's going to be quite enough. In comes a rocket. Maybe, just maybe, Yao will surge away, but he runs towards 8K instead of to the left. Then he gets hooked. Jammed in. 8K with a beautiful hook up the hill. If he had just ran to the left, I think he might have been okay, but maybe was trying to juke that hook, and in the end, 8K finds it and delivers anyway.
If it was just Moo, he would have dodged it, I tell you.
Yeah, and if it was Moo on the clockwork, it doesn't matter.
There's this highlight clip you have to see where he completely jukes Yamate, like one of the most impressive clockwork jukes I've ever seen.
You can see the moment where his ankles snap in half.
Yeah. But, well, a second kill going to ForLove. This is the problem, that Clockwork has the potential to sort of put a spanner in LGD's plans here by just sort of going for these little pickoffs here and there, slowing down the time where they can push. If he can just catch here on the sidelines, he can even hook into the 5-man push if he finds someone like the Earthshaker. He's pretty durable if he just goes for some early tanking items, gets some treads, gets just early bracer drum, something just to boost his stats. And I think this is going to be the one big hero for ForLove. And Gyrocopter, even if he doesn't get farm, if he can just hit level 6 to follow up Clockwork initiation with a cooldown, I think ForLove do have a way of stopping the LGD
Here comes
push.
the backstab. Sylar a second late to react here. Stormbolt will fly, but the fissure is good. Catches 2. They'll disengage safely, and it shows you the importance of DD. Not getting caught by the Stormbolt, in position to land a nice fissure for his teammate. If he keeps it up, it's going to be hard to kill Sylar. And I'm glad you mentioned the Clockwork, just because honestly, there's no hero to make an Earthshaker sadder than a Clockwork. If you catch him in cogs with battery assault, you actually can't do anything. You can't cast fissure, you can't react. Here comes potentially another fissure bottom lane. It's waiting, angles right, catches Keo, rooted to fly, and down will go. Well, nicely played by Sylar there, and once you get level 5, if you get the roots, anyone's gonna die pretty much.
Yeah, nice. LGD just have a control of this bottom lane. This is where you can see that teamwork and synergy really working. They know when they can get the kills. They know the timings of the fissures. And ForLove just getting caught out a bit. The support Sven also showing its weaknesses. To me, the one saving grace for ForLove is the 2 farming
He's rooted
solos.
too. He's in trouble now. Will he fall? No, only 1 root.
Yeah, no follow-up damage. Actually, the support sort of venturing off, doing some more warding. Clockwork's picked up a nifty little item. He's got himself an Urn, which at this point makes him a decent amount tankier, the +6 strength, and if he can get some early Urn charges, it's going to help him and his team out quite a lot in these fights.
It also keeps you on the map, moving around more often, less trips needed back to base. Once you start getting the Urn charges, we'll see what he can make happen. He's got
bottom.
He's got a TP available as well. He's not going to go just yet.
Queen of Pain wants to make something happen bottom. She TP's bottom, gives the top lane actually to the gyrocopter. It gets spotted.
I like this rotation, but the problem is, who are you going to kill? It's going to be difficult for ForLove unless Clockwork arrives to actually find a kill. Sylar, not really a viable target to go on. You want to catch someone like the Visage or even the Earthshaker, but if they position themselves right, finding them will be tough. So I like the idea of rotating the Queen of Pain down because end of the day, as this game goes towards the 20-30 minute mark, if you get there with Sylar having decent farm, Queen of Pain is not going to stop a low turn. You need a fat gyro to do it, and he needs that farm. He will get entangled, but blinks away. Now Zippo throwing DDC towards himself, feeling manly. There is some follow-up. It comes in the form of AK. Looks for a hook, but doesn't connect it in the end. They will be driven back. Meanwhile, top lane. Keo, he's been rotated top, but no backup is there. Down he goes. Yao finding a crucial solo kill, and you know, I like the idea to rotate the gyro, but you can't leave him alone.
Yeah, I think he was maybe calling for a Clockwork TP, but Clockwork already having TP bottom. He really needed that kill. Your first sort of TP hook gank needs to hit when you have that Urn, because now he still doesn't have any Urn charges, and he's still sort of being somewhat ineffective.
And he's also not putting any sort of fear into LGD. Sylar continues to farm freely in the bottom lane, 44 and 13, and once again, I am a little worried for ForLove. Gyro, sure, he doesn't need a whole lot to be an impact hero now, but you get later on, what is he really going to do? Now top lane onto Yao, maybe there'll be follow-up, but no, it comes from Xiao 8. He's going to die again. That's going to be twice in a row in a matter of seconds, and support Sven, what can he really do? Not a whole lot.
He just TP'd into instant death. So that I saw a Dota bingo card. Hero TP's into instant death. Tick it off. That's exactly what that gyro just did. I want to get one of those Dota bingo cards. It actually looked like a lot of fun.
I saw them. Valat is trying to collect them all, but haven't gotten them myself. Waiting for a fissure bottom lane. If there's a root, there will be a fissure. They're just going to hope for one now. They don't get it, and back you will go. But that's 2 deaths for Gyrocopter top lane. He's not getting a whole lot accomplished here. And you look towards bottom lane, Queen of Pain's not farming well. So in theory, I think the idea to rotate the gyro makes sense because you need him farmed to deal with the lone druid later on. You just can't kill the bear with Queen of Pain after a certain point, but the actual execution and the actual, in practice, result of it has been pretty underwhelming, to say the least.
Yeah, and the scary thing here for Queen of Pain is the long-range fissure can always hit the Queen of Pain, and if there's an entangle, that's a dead Queen of Pain. So even though you've got the blink escape, you can't always rely on it.
And I loved what DD was doing. He was really hoping that Sylar would get a root and that he could save his and fissure for when the root's about to wear off. If he did that, that would have been a kill. So patience from him. In the end, couldn't find it, so threw the fissure out, then said, Sylar, get a root now. And Sylar did not oblige. But if he does, there will be a kill. The bigger concern, more than anything, is what Yao's been able to accomplish top lane. This is going to be a very fast mech. He's going to have the mech around the 12-minute mark, and this is without tower gold. You get the mech, you just group up and push. And I really am not sure. ForLove can defend for now, but it's going to be hard with the mech out. They have enough AoE that I feel they can take a fight, but it's not going to be an easy one. And if LGD execute properly with the familiars and the bear in the front lines, now the armlet up too, and keep the heroes back, actually finding a big poke. Well, they'll go now. AK, he'll catch out Lone Druid. Is that the one you want to catch? That's the question. Maybe not. This Lone Druid just won't die. AK, first one to drop.
He's got armlet on himself.
You potentially next to the line. He's giving the armlet to himself. He's still alive. You on the run. What a hero. Able to live through it all. Sylar is. Now a soul assumption. That's going to be a complete turn of events. They bit off way more than they can chew there. And trapping the Lone Druid hero inside the cogs with a bear ended up being the worst thing in the world. He
just had the armlet sent out to him. I don't think he'd even put it on his bear yet. The armlet saved his life there. He toggled it on and had enough HP to survive the Sonic Wave. I don't know if he'd actually passed on his bear to his hero, but I think it was on his hero.
Yeah, he did pass it. I saw it on his bear like at least 10 seconds before that.
Well, he passed it over and it saved his life. That was some incredible hero control from Sylar. And then he even did some little armlet toggling in there as well.
Yeah, showing off his micro skills, which... I mean, they win one fight, they instantly claim 2 towers, and there's no hook. That'll be a beautiful fissure, keeping Hansi back. Towers gonna fall. Bear doing some good body blocking. DDC may get caught out here, but do you want to go in on this armlet bear? It's scary, to say the least. They'll try. That's a 3-4 hero Scream of Pain, but gets rooted. You to drop. He'll go down. Now Xiaowei. Cogs deployed, but keeping the bear inside with AK and giving Xiaowei an easy way out. That was not really the best Cogs. AK on the run. The familiar's giving chase. Will there be another fissure? DD, it's cooling down. Zapped. Caught out of position. Position was good in the laning stage. Not so good there. I heard a hook, but I don't like where he landed. It's a familiar. and stops at his tracks.
He's stuck.
And now he's trapped.
TP.
Oh man, this is a comedy of errors for ForLove, and we're now 7,500 gold down, 6,000 experience behind. They are really struggling.
Yeah, this gyrocopter's not finding anything ever. He started bottom, kept on dying. Went top, kept on dying. Went mid, didn't really die, but didn't really get much farm. He's struggling, and this fight, these fights are just not going well at all for ForLove. That fight, the one kill they got on Earthshaker was just Earthshaker being a bit greedy. He was trying to get in for an Echo Slam on the Clockwork, it looked like, but Rubik wasn't having any of that.
And I'm curious what ForLove's going to do as this game progresses. Their gyrocopter is one of the poorest gyros you will ever see. He's flat out impoverished. Look at him right now. 2,400 net worth. Behind the Queen of Pain on the safe lane by a good 800. Behind his own Clockwork by 1,200. And then he's being over doubled up by Yao. And I mentioned 5-man at 20 to 25 minutes. If you have a start like this, you have 5-man at 12 to 13. And here we go, LGD. They're looking for their third tower. They're looking for AK as well. They might get both. AK trapped, but a beautiful Stormbolt catches 3 and the bear. But who needs to dodge those Stormbolts when you've got Root? Yu jumps in, gets echoed. Xiao Weight's still alive. This is not your granddaddy's support Leshrac. This is big bad farming Leshrac. Doesn't go down quite that easy. Xiao Weight able to stay alive, and LGD, they're looking to keep on pushing.
Yeah, they've got a mech soon. Oh, Blink Scream, not actually going to hit anything. Queen of Pain are going to get stunned up, and this is death. Queen of Pain, you're not going to know that one.
You can tell you just wanted to make a play. He knows his team needs one, and he can sense that they're really falling behind. Tries to force it, makes things even worse in the end. But I can't really fault him for trying to make a play, because they needed something.
Yeah, they really do need something, anything at this point, and it's only going to come from some risky ballsy plays as ForLove just gets disintegrated here in the mid lane. Zippo going to... Hey, Stolen Echo Slam does a little bit of damage there, but LGD, they've just got the early game items. They're tanky enough. That Echo Slam, they just shrug it off.
I think they might even just go high ground right now. We could be looking at a sub 15-minute GG. LGD China in grand form today are going to jump out. Potentially no quick 1-0 lead. I just don't see ForLove defending this push. Down 12k at 14 minutes, down 10k experience to boot. And despite their AoE, there's a mech, there's a bear. Armlet and Edict, LGD just muscling through this tower. Man, I'm having flashbacks to the International 2, where they just steamrolled their way through every single team. They haven't made it. In fact, the GG will come out. LGD China, they take game 1, and they absolutely wipe the floor with ForLove. No pretty way to put it, God. Old-fashioned beatdown.
I'm not surprised at all, and this is exactly what LGD need. They want to have another 15-minute game and then just say, well, good, easy. We're still one of the best teams in China. We're going to win this TI3's qualifying, no problems at all. This is exactly what LGD needed and exactly what they got.
What a start for LGD China. They jump out to a 1-0 lead, but it is a best of 3. It's the Dota 2 Super League brought to you by Beyond the Summit. If you're watching our stream, well, that's great, but you should also be watching the West qualifiers. They're going on now. Head on over to twitch.tv/thegdstudio/TobyWanDota or /Sheaver Gaming, all 3 of your English broadcasters, and Starladder and a few others casting as well. But with that being said, we've got a little more Asian Dota for you today. We have at least one more game. It'll be coming up next. LGD China currently leading the set 1-0. Game 2 after this.